right, good evening everyone, and welcome to the cage at Landrum High School, the site of today's doubleheader between the Blacksburg Wildcats and the Landrum Cardinals. JV matchup here today. The girls are going to tip off at 6 o'clock, or set to tip off at 6 o'clock. Blacksburg actually only took the court about 10 minutes ago, so I've got a feeling they'll extend warm-ups by a few minutes just to give them a little bit of extra time to prep. Maybe 6:05 tip-off, if I had to guess. So the refs are congregating right at half court, so we'll see. Until then, tip-off slated for the girls at 6 o'clock, and then 7:30 or 7:15 for the boys, depending on how fast this first matchup goes. Now, interesting notes on both sides. Only 15 players total, as in between both teams, on the girls' roster active tonight. 7 for Blacksburg, 8 for Landrum. Biggest scratch for Landrum is that Savannah Brown is inactive in probably the best possible way. We actually saw her in the auxiliary gym practicing with the varsity team, so she will be unavailable tonight. Definitely good on her end, but the Landrum girls will need to find a way to kind of make up for her absence. They'll need someone else to take up that center field position. She has really excelled from underneath the rim so far this season, and it's definitely going to be a big absence, but they have had absences before, and their players have managed to step up in those absences, so we'll see how things shake out. Yeah, clock's closing in on 50 seconds up here. I imagine they're going to add at least a couple more minutes to it, because at least Landrum thinks they're ready to go, and now Blacksburg's headed over, so looks like we will get started on time. Tip-off slated to go here in just a few moments. And there's the buzzer. We are ready to roll. Again, only 15 players active between both teams. 6-minute quarter, so foul trouble shouldn't be an issue in this one, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Starting lineup for the Cardinals looks like it's going to be Olivia Clayton, Kaylee Cortez back after an absence earlier in the year. That'll be Olivia Smith, Pearl Holloway, and number 22, Jordan Higgins, the starters for Landrum. On the other side of the ball, looks like we've got, those are some tricky numbers to read, actually. Looks like Shania Smith, number 0, number 20, Peyton Vance, can't quite make that one out over on the left-hand side of the frame. I believe that's 23, Stormy Harris, maybe, 33, Anna Jones. We'll get to those as we go on. Again, tough to read those. And in the meantime, looks like Landrum takes the tip-off. Kaylee Cortez sends it inside to number 25. That is Sydney Price. She was inactive early in the year with COVID concerns. She's been back and making an impact since then, and more impacts. I believe that was Kaylee Cortez with the steal. Now Cortez with the clear line to the basket and got that one. First points of the game go to Landrum, up 2-0 over Blacksburg. Another interesting note about Blacksburg, I believe this is only their 4th game of the season, at least for the JV girls. Max Prep says they've only had 3 played, and that's not where the score may not have been reported on games that were played. So far, from what I've seen, this is only the 4th game they've even had scheduled. And with 7-player roster, should be interesting to see how things shake out moving forward. Higgins off the mark on that 3-pointer, rebounded by Holloway, but I think she sent it out of bounds. And that will go to the Wildcats. This is Shania Smith checking in to number 21, Destiny Pope. Pope trying to find an opening. 5 minutes to play in the first period. That shot blocked by Price and brought back in by Holloway. Holloway taking a step back, sending it down the court to Cortez. Cortez has that shot blocked. Rebounded by Smith. Back to Cortez. Over to Holloway. Now Higgins for the long 2 off the mark and somehow brought in by Landrum, but not for long. Sydney Price tried to get that one over to Holloway. Sent it out of bounds by mistake. It'll be Wildcat ball. Smith to check it in. 4:39 left to play in the first. Landrum up 2-0. Pope in some trouble, has that one partially blocked, brought back in by the Cardinals. And now going right inside, Olivia Smith for the layup, short hops it, and rebounded by Anna Jones, the center for Blacksburg, number 33. Now this is Pope. Gets it over to number 12. That's Lexi Mode, and Mode has that one slip out of her hands, brought back in by Higgins, and now Kaylee Cortez taking this down the court. Cortez stops at the three-point line, has the ball get away from her, gets it back, and now looking around for some kind of opening. Gets Price now to Holloway. Holloway wanted to go inside, back to Cortez for the long two, and Cortez sinks it. Landrum takes a two-possession lead with 3:43 left to go in the first. Pope going to take it down the court for Blacksburg. And Cortez going for the steal already. Almost had it. Brought back in by the Wildcats. That's Peyton Vance, or the one saving that play for Blacksburg. I believe Destiny Pope was the one that shot that one. Short hops it, and Landrum's going to take over. Kaylee Cortez headed down the court now. Cortez thinks she got fouled. Yeah, they're going to call that one against Blacksburg. So Cortez, or no, they call that one against Cortez. So Blacksburg will check this one in right around half court. And looks like we got a substitution on both sides. Chelsea Holtzclaw enters the game for Blacksburg, and that looked to be Naomi Correria entering for Landrum. And Pope sends out an out of bounds. They're going to keep it with Blacksburg. 3:07 to play in the first. Holtzclaw to check in. Now Pope sending it inside, and Jones short hops that one. Goes out of bounds, and now to be Landrum ball. Sydney Price to check in for the Cardinals. Cortez flips it to Holloway. Holloway over to Price. Price back to Cortez. Dodges a man and got fouled maybe. And I think they call that, I think I saw him call that one against Holtzclaw. It'll remain Cardinal ball. Holloway to check in for Landrum. Substitutions for Blacksburg. Anna Jones has exited the game. Looks like she was replaced by Stormy Harris. And going inside is Cortez, and she sinks it from inside the paint. Landrum goes up 6-0. 2:37 to play in the first. Holtzclaw checks into Pope. Looking around for an opening, airmails it over to, that is Lexi Mode, and now back to Pope, jump ball, and this one will go to Landrum, I believe. Indeed, Cardinal ball. Sydney Price to check in. Nope, they've got the possession arrow facing the Landrum bench. Yes, they say that wasn't a jump ball. They'll stay with Blacksburg then. And now going right for the three-pointer, that was Mode, and off the mark, rebounded by Pearl Holloway. Slinging it down the court, Sydney Price gets it to Cortez. Cortez gets it out to a 3-score lead. 8-0 Cardinals, and I think we got a timeout taken by Blacksburg. 2:01 to play in the first. Back in a few moments. All right, so Landrum headed back out onto the court. No personnel changes for the Cardinals, at least no new ones. And looks like we don't have any substitutions for the Wildcats either. Again, both rosters pretty short-handed. Landrum started the season with 10 players. Got a handful of them inactive today. Savannah Brown on the varsity roster now for the Cardinals. And only 7 players listed as active for the Wildcats. And this is Destiny Pope for the long three, trying to get Blacksburg their first points of the game, and jump ball. This one goes to Landrum. So still nothing on the board yet for the Wildcats. Now they're going to full court press, trying to get some kind of takeaway. Cortez, splits some defenders, gets it over to Farias Rodriguez, and Rodriguez tried to get that one inside to Cortez, stolen away by Pope. Now Pope trying to flip it out. That's Vance Mode, and Mode goes off the rim. And the possession will stay with Blacksburg. Pope to check in, gets it over to Mode and called for traveling. I thought she was going to try to send it to Anna Jones over to half court. Instead, checked it inside to Lexi Mode. Mode gets called for traveling, and now Sydney Price to check in for the Cardinals. This is Cortez back to Price and setting it up for Holloway. Now Holloway trying to break inside that three-point line. Price now looking for an opening. Finds Holloway again, back to Price. Over to Farias Rodriguez. Now inside to Cortez. Thought about taking that shot. Now steps back. 53 seconds to go in the first. Cortez over to Holloway. Holloway tries to make a player miss. Now inside to Price. Price off the rim and rebounded by Correria. Misses. Now rebounded by, that's Correria again, taking a step back, looking for an open player. Now Price for the long three, off the front of the rim, rebounded by Cortez. Man, they cannot sink this thing. Looked like there was butter on that rim or something. They just could not get that one in. 30 seconds to play in the first. Man, that was something else. And got whistles. Blacksburg's going to have to take this one back. 30.1 seconds to play in the opening period. Landrum up 8-0. Blacksburg still looking for their first points of the game. Again, we believe this is only the 4th time that the JV girls have taken the court for Blacksburg. That inexperience showing so far. A little cat and mouse between Pope and Mode. Now going inside. That's Peyton Vance. Vance able to get the first points of the game for Blacksburg. 6 seconds left. Landrum just going to have to sling this. Price for the long three and off the front of the rim. Time's going to expire. So a defensively minded first period at the end of the initial 6 minutes. Landrum up 8-2. Still anyone's game. 2 scores separating these two teams. Back in a few minutes. All right, and we're back ready for the start of the second period. Blacksburg still down by 6 points, but only a 2-possession game. And now Landrum looking to get the lead back out to 3 scores. Holloway almost gets pushed out of bounds. Good job to stay in. Sends it inside to Rodriguez, and now inside to Correria. Correria misses that one, and yeah, Blacksburg touched that one on the way out. Or no, they're going to keep this one with the Wildcats. This is Destiny Pope. Had a busy first period, mainly as a distributor from behind the three-point line, and Blacksburg just slings that one up and it pays off. Lexi Mode able to notch some points there. Still a two-score game, but the lead's down to 4. Blacksburg 4 unanswered right now. And Rodriguez slings that one up from the free throw line off the rim, rebounded by Holloway, and Holloway looks to have gotten fouled. And they will call out a shooting foul, so Landrum with a chance to get the lead back out to 6 here. Both teams at 2 fouls now. Holloway's first shot is good. And shot number 2 goes off the back of the rim. It's rebounded by Lexi Mode, and Mode flinging it down the court to Vance. Vance sends it up off the rim and rebounded by Sydney Price of the Lady Cardinals. This is Kaylee Cortez. Wants it all, now takes a step back, looking to get it over to Higgins, and Higgins now for the long 3, falls right into the lap of Anna Jones for Blacksburg. She gets it over to Pope, and now really right back to square one, 70 seconds into the second period. Mode tries to cut inside, takes a step back, gets it to Pope. Pope for 3, off the front of the rim, rebounded by Cortez. Cortez has a clear lane to the basket, sends it up, and sinks it. Biggest lead of the game for Landrum, up by 7 now. Or check that, biggest lead was 8-zip earlier in the first. And Pope got a little too fancy there, almost has it stolen away, jump ball, and this one's going to go over to Landrum, I believe. And indeed it will. Sydney Price to check in for the Lady Cardinals. Looks like she's going to flip it over to Kaylee Cortez. Got a substitution for Blacksburg. I believe Shania Smith has re-entered the game in relief of Lexi Mode. 4:19 to play in the second. Landrum up by 7. Low scoring affair so far. Both offenses trying to find some momentum. They have not been too good from behind the line, but so far the issue has been the same on both sides. They've just been short hopping them. So maybe a quick timeout adjustment could be all either side needs to really get their field goal percentage back up. That one knocked out of bounds. I think there was a foul called against Blacksburg. Yep. And now Higgins to check in for Landrum. They're setting it up for Sydney Price, well read by Blacksburg, and they call Price for traveling. Yeah, Chelsea Holtzclaw was coming right into that shooting lane, and I think Price got a little flustered. That was enough to draw the traveling call. And now another substitution for the Wildcats. Holtzclaw exits the game. She was replaced by, that's Peyton Vance back in. Now Shania Smith looking for a lane. Tried to send it inside, and now taken away by Cortez. And takes a step back, and nice move by Kaylee Cortez inside the paint. Little hesitation, and now nobody there to get this one for Blacksburg. Anna Jones going to book it down the court. Yeah, that was a great adjustment by Cortez under the rim. Was going stride for stride with Pope right down. And, oh, Holloway just ripped that one right out of the hands of Peyton Vance. Landrum with a chance to extend the lead again. And Cortez got hit as she threw. Bounces off the rim and goes out of bounds. They're going to rule this in favor of Landrum, though. Jordan Higgins to check in. Yet another substitution. Shania Smith exits the game for Blacksburg. Replaced by Mode. And now Price got that three-pointer off, but sent it too far. Rebounded by Higgins, and Higgins can't get it. Into the arms of Holloway now. Holloway had that one blocked, somehow still in the hands of Landrum. This one blocked as well, and it looks like Anna Jones finally got it for the Wildcats. Now Destiny Pope making a beeline to the goal and felt the pressure coming in from behind her. Sends that one off the backboard, rebounded by Landrum. 2:52 to play in the second. Kaylee Cortez sending it inside to Carreria. Carreria sinks that one. Landrum goes up by 11, 15-4, and got a timeout taken by the Cardinals. Landrum up by 11, 15-4. Blacksburg got to find their footing here within the next 30 seconds or so. Back in a moment. All right, and we are back. We'll see what both sides were able to draw up there. Interesting that Landrum was the one to call that timeout. They didn't look to be out of position, and Blacksburg didn't necessarily look to be drawing anything up, but I think that might have been what they were talking about. Back to full court press for Landrum. Really the first time we've seen that from them. Man, they went straight for that steal, and Blacksburg has to call a timeout just to get him out of it. 2:31 now. Landrum still up 15-4. Not really much of any progress made by either team during that brief reset. But again, I think that's what Landrum called that timeout for, trying to go for the steal, notch a few more points before heading into halftime, because when they've gotten all 10 players settled in on one side of the court, Landrum's had to pass it around trying to find some open lanes. They have not succeeded. Most of their points have come off of turnovers, in which somebody will steal it away and they'll just make a beeline right for the goal. So it makes sense that they try to discuss forcing some more turnovers, or now Landrum backing off a little bit. Driving inside is Vance, and man, Holloway just took it right out of her hands. The wind-ups for Blacksburg have been an issue. They have shot with a lot of hesitation. It's just taken them too long to get the ball up in the air. Anna Jones sends it over to Pope. 2:16 to play in the second period. Halftime looming. And now Vance slings it up and goes right into the arms of Naomi Correria. And now Kaylee Cortez making her way down the court. Motioning some players around, now gets it to Higgins. Higgins for the long three, off the rim, and rebounded by Correria. Good job to keep it in play, and then knocked out of bounds by Landrum. It'll be Blacksburg ball. And nobody for Blacksburg seems to want to check this one in. Now Stormy Harris entering the frame. 1:53 to play in the second, and Landrum takes that one away immediately. Lead goes out to 13 now for the Lady Cardinals. 5-possession game. Pope sends it inside to Mode. Back to Pope, and going long for Jones. Jones tried to send that one inside to Harris, and it's taken away by Landrum. Cortez splits some defenders, trying to flip this one out to one of her teammates, and got a foul called, double dribble against Cortez. 1:29 to play in the second. Again, Landrum has had some issues shooting so far. Blacksburg's defense has played reasonably well. 17 points given up in the first half of a JV game is not too bad, but offensively the Wildcats have got to find something. They have struggled mightily. Got away from the field goals early, had some players short hop a few shots. They went in, they were rebounded by Landrum without too much difficulty, and since then they've been content to try and work from inside the three-point line. And this one, again, taken away by Landrum. Holloway almost forced out of bounds. Splits some defenders, gets it to Cortez, and Cortez off the mark. Rebounded by Correria, and Correria sinks it. 19-4, 53 seconds to play in the half, and Cortez almost took that one away. Got whistles beforehand, though, and they're actually going to rule this in favor of Landrum, I think. Looks like there's some confusion now. Substitutions for Landrum, and Higgins checking out of the game. She's replaced by Kelly Farias Rodriguez, and now Farias Rodriguez flipping it inside, and got another foul, this one going against Landrum. So Now back to Blacksburg. Shania Smith checks it in, and Holloway tried to take that one away. Really putting some pressure there on Smith. I think it bounced off of Holloway's foot. And they're going to rule this in favor of Blacksburg, yes. 46.3 to go now. And now this Landrum defense really starting to put the pressure on the Wildcats. Got another foul called. Didn't see who that one was against. And that one goes against Landrum. Under 40 seconds to play in the first half now. And Peyton Vance falls. Got tripped up. We'll see if they call that a foul against Landrum, and I think they are. Yep, that'll be Landrum's fourth of the half. And Pope looking for an open Wildcat. Gonna send it, oh, too far, and Anna Jones there to bring it back in. Now going inside to Pope, back over to Mode. Mode takes the long two and overshoots it. Rebounded by Blacksburg. Shania Smith now, this one off the mark, rebounded by the Wildcats. Jump ball, and this one's going to go to Landrum. 17.3 seconds. Neither offense has really gone up tempo yet, so this could be the last possession of the half. Landrum got a chance to crack 20 here. And now open for the long two. That's Jenna Holzheimer. Sinks it. Landrum cracks 20, up by 17 now. And Blacksburg, I don't even know if they're going to take a long shot here. And no. Suppose they didn't want to risk another turnover there. So at the end of the first half, Blacksburg only notches 4 points. 21-4. Landrum up by 17. Back in 10 minutes. Blacksburg going to try to find some offense, or at least scheme a few things up in the locker room. Back in a few minutes. All right, so we are just about ready for the start of the third period. Blacksburg definitely hard-pressed to find something that wouldn't improve their offensive attack so far. They have struggled mightily. Only 4 points scored in the entirety of the first half. That's not a typo. Only saying 2 baskets, both of them from inside the three-point line. They definitely had a lot of opportunities, a lot of shots were taken just off the mark, and most of them were short of the rim. I imagine that's something they discussed in the locker room there. Maybe start putting a little more on those. If you think you should short hop it, but give it a little more gas. Maybe that'll do the trick, maybe it won't. Remains to be seen. In the meantime, Landrum has thrived off of turnovers. Their shooting percentage really not that much better than Blacksburg, but the difference has been the takeaways, those open beelines straight down the court, where especially Kaylee Cortez has been the master of it so far, just taking the ball away, heading right down and sinking the layups. That is where Landrum has gotten the bulk of their points so far. So strategy-wise, I imagine Blacksburg, they've struggled from outside the paint, but they've struggled from inside the paint as well, and working from inside the paint has really not helped them out too much. They just don't have the speed advantage, I think, required to work from the inside, so maybe need to focus a little bit on the three-point game, or at least try to get it moving. But we'll see. As for Landrum, though, I imagine their strategy remains, and traveling goes called there against Blacksburg, so this will be Landrum ball early, but I imagine the strategy for the Cardinals is going to remain the same. Try to force Blacksburg to go inside. They've not had a lot of confident shooting from outside the line anyway, so I imagine try and force them inside, get them to work from inside the paint where they're uncomfortable, and then just keep going for those takeaways, because that is how they've gotten out to this big lead. And Jordan Higgins, so 2 traveling calls in a row to start out the third period here. This one's going to go right back to Blacksburg. That's Holtzclaw checking into Destiny Pope. And Pope flips it over to Vance. Inside to Jones, and Jones almost hit that one, rebounded by Jordan Higgins for the Cardinals. And now Sydney Price making her way down the court, stepping back outside. Kaylee Cortez looking around, getting it over to Higgins. I think Higgins wanted to go for 3, instead breaks it inside and has that one taken away by Blacksburg. And no whistle yet. Now they call the jump ball. And this one, I think I'll stay with Landrum, actually. Indeed it will. Jordan Higgins to check in now, and they're going to try to set up a 3-point shot for someone. And well guarded. They go inside to Price, excuse me, and now there's a real tussle for it. Blacksburg comes out, and traveling called against Anna Jones of the Wildcats. So right back to Landrum. And now they're going to set this one up for Price. Again, well guarded by Blacksburg. They've seen that on film. Landrum's done that quite a lot. It worked early in the year, but ever since teams have, I suppose, started to get film on it, they have known when it's coming, when everyone lines up like that. So now Cortez directing traffic from well behind the line, flips it over to Price. Price going to try to get something done inside to Ferris Rodriguez, and Rodriguez taking some steps back. She's going to flip it over to Kaylee Cortez again. And now Cortez motioning a few more players around, back to Price. They tried to get that one inside to Smith. Again, well guarded by Blacksburg. And now Cortez trying to take a few steps back, looking for Ferris Rodriguez. Gets it there. 4:23 to play in the third period. And now right back to square one for Landrum. Cortez gets it to Olivia Smith, back over to Ferris Rodriguez, and now tried to split 2 defenders. That's not going to work. Taken away by Blacksburg, and now Destiny Pope looking to get it outside over to Jones, and Jones just misses from the free throw line. Rebounded by Blacksburg. They tried to get it back to Jones, batted up, and now Pope with the long 2 had that one deflected and got a jump ball. This one's going to stay with Blacksburg. 3:48 to play in the third period. No progress made for either team so far. 2-man substitution coming up for Landrum, or now they back off. They'll wait a few more moments. So Pearl Holloway and Naomi Corriere were the ones coming in. We got a shooting foul called against Landrum. Peyton Vance at the line for the Wildcats. Vance with the chance to get some much-needed points on the board for Blacksburg. And this first shot off the mark. And now substitutions made for Landrum. Farias Rodriguez going to sub out alongside Olivia Smith. Shot number 2 coming up for Peyton Vance. This one is no good. Looked like it was going to go in for a second. Rebounded by Pearl Holloway. Has to take a step back to avoid going out of bounds. Flips it to Kaylee Cortez. And now Cortez looking for an opening back to Holloway. Back to Cortez, over to Price. Price tried to drive that one inside. The window closes up quickly. And now Landrum, they're trying to go inside. Naomi Correria has had a hard time getting open all game. And now they send it to Correria, and she airmails that one off the rim. Jump ball, it'll stay with Landrum. Or no, to Blacksburg, excuse me. Holtzclaw to check in for the Lady Wildcats. She gets it over to Pope, and Cortez tries to steal that one right away. And yeah, Price batted that one out of bounds. This one will be staying with Blacksburg, I think. Indeed it will. Again, Holtzclaw to check in, gets it to Pope. And Cortez playing a little looser this time, not by much. Neither team has scored in this period. Still 21-4. That's where it was when we left it for halftime. Blacksburg flipping it around now inside. Jones takes a shot, and too much on that one. Goes off the backboard, and I think we got a traveling call against Jordan Higgins of the Lady Cardinals, so right back to the Wildcats. And now Pope gonna try to sling it, and it's taken away by Cortez, and Cortez, I think, got fouled on her way down to the basket there. Holtzclaw, the guilty party on that one, it looks like. I think they're going to get her with a push. Didn't catch the number. That was definitely a signal for a push, and this one will stay with Landrum. They're going to try to set up that three-pointer again, and this time they might have it. And Price had the window off the mark, rebounded by Blacksburg, and now jump ball. This one will stay with the Wildcats. Oh no, I can't get this flipping field straight. It's been confusing me. I don't know why just this game. And now Higgins for the long three. She can't get it. Got a whistle blown as Blacksburg was getting ready to bring that one in. And now they're just going to sling this one down the court. Tried to get it down and brought it back in by Landrum. Sydney Price fouled as she shot that one. So with a chance, believe it or not, for the first points of the third period with 2:25 to go until the fourth starts up, Sydney Price from the free throw line. Yeah, I think what's been confusing me with the possession arrow is that the arrow is pointing in the direction of the bench, but both sides have been going toward the basket that is opposite them. So right now it's pointed at the Blacksburg's bench, but Landrum has been going in the direction of the Blacksburg bench. So that's been throwing me off a little bit. For the first points of the third period, Sydney Price sinks that one, no problem. 22-4, Landrum up by 18 now. 2:25 to play in the third. Stretch the lead to 19. Price off the back of the rim, rebounded by Naomi Correria and gets boxed out by Smith. Over to Jones. Jones looking for an opening and sends it over to Lexi Mode. Mode gets it inside to Vance. Vance lost her handle on it. Brought back in by Anna Jones. Now Jones looking around, over to Mode, over to Vance. Vance inside, airmails that one, rebounded by Shania Smith. Tried to get that one inside, loose ball, rebounded by Jones. Jones shoots off the mark, rebounded by Correria, and Correria sends it to Cortez. Cortez making a line for the goal, got it. Landrum up by 20. 1:46 to play in the third period. Blacksburg got to get something going offensively. And no-look pass from Mode to Pope. Now the three-pointer. Vance too far. Rebounded by Pearl Holloway. Holloway making her way down the court and got a whistle. And they're going to call her for carrying on that one. 88 seconds to play in the third. Landrum up 24-4. All right, that's surprising me a little bit. It actually says this stream has been live for 45 minutes. This has not felt like that at all. As low scoring as it's been, this has been a really fast-paced game, or so it seemed. Honestly, it feels like we've been streaming for maybe 20, 25 minutes. This one flying by, and flying down the court was that three-point shot from Destiny Pope. Off the mark, jump ball. This one's going to stay with Blacksburg. Destiny Pope to check in for the Lady Wildcats and sends it inside to Smith. Smith couldn't handle it and flips it over to Mode. Mode looking around over to Smith again. Outside to Pope. Loose ball brought in by Holloway, and Pope was caught flat-footed there. Holloway can't connect. And now Holloway again can't connect on that one either. Brought back in by Shania Smith. Jump ball. And smart move. This is going to stay with Landrum. 34.6 seconds to play in the third period. And going right for the shot was Naomi Correria. Off the mark, rebounded by Sydney Price, sends it over to Cortez. 28 seconds now. And Price for the three. Got it! Nice shot there from Sydney Price. Didn't have a lot of time to set up for that one either. And now 12 seconds left to play in the third. Destiny Pope just going to go for a three-pointer of her own. Off the mark, heads out of bounds. 6.7 seconds left in the third period. Sydney Price is going to check into Cortez. Landrum, no, they're just going to roll this one. And I'm not sure what that play was, but Landrum's about out of time to make something happen with it, and that will do it. Interesting setup there. Not a lot of progress made. Only 6 total points scored in that entire period, all of them by Landrum. The Lady Cardinals able to extend their lead out to 23, and we have got a 27-4 game headed into the fourth period. You heard that right, 27-4 back in a few moments. So Landrum putting on an absolute clinic defensively. Through the first 2 periods, throughout that first half, Blacksburg was really just having trouble shooting. For the most part in that third period, it was almost, option-style ball control. Blacksburg just didn't have a lot of possessions, and when they did have the ball, it was either taken away or they missed the shots and then couldn't rebound them. Landrum, again, it looked like a triple option football team playing. They just held the ball for longer than Blacksburg would have liked them to, and I think Blacksburg kind of catching on to that strategy there. Shania Smith going for the three right away. Brought in by Ferris Rodriguez. Now Cortez sending it down the court to Higgins. Higgins for the long two off the rim and rebounded by Cortez. Cortez from inside the paint sinks that one. Landrum up by 25. 30 seconds into the final period. And that one, yeah, you can tell Blacksburg at least thinking that this one's out of reach. Anna Jones, the center there, a little slow to come up with that ball. That was what enabled Landrum to come away with it. Pearl Holloway to check in for the Lady Cardinals. And now that Wildcat defense really communicating. We have not seen a lot of that so far, and bad pass there from Cortez results in a jump ball that will go to, or no, a foul actually. I think they called that one against Kelly Farias Rodriguez of the Cardinals, so this should be Blacksburg ball. And indeed, Shania Smith, number 0 for the Lady Wildcats, will check in. And everybody headed down court. Destiny Pope going to try to set this one up. And they might have been trying to set that one up for Jones, and instead it goes off the mark. Nice try there by Lexi Mode to keep that one in play. Does not pay off, though. I think she got a foot right on that Landrum text, out of bounds. Holloway checks it into Cortez. Cortez across half court, 70 seconds into the 4th period. Holloway back to Cortez. I think Landrum's trying to set something up. I mean, defensively, save for the takeaways, Blacksburg has been very sound so far. They just haven't been able to keep up offensively with Landrum. Again, Landrum has had a ton of points off of turnovers so far, and double dribble called there against Kaylee Cortez. And Blacksburg has not been able to keep up in the turnover department, and when they have gotten the ball, they have either had it taken away or just straight up missed. And now Vance sends it inside to Jones. Jones, I think she had that one knocked out of her hand into the arms of Destiny Pope. Now jump ball. This one will go to Landrum. Holloway to check in for the Lady Cardinals. I've been told that Blacksburg has switched from zone to man-to-man defense now. That would explain the communication we heard earlier. In the 4th period, I very clearly remember hearing someone say, "I've got 22," that 22 being Jordan Higgins. And now Holloway going right for the three-pointer, too far, rebounded by Vance. Sends it over to Lexi Mode, and Cortez stride for stride with her. That was going to be a contested shot off the mark. Rebounded by Holloway. Holloway in some trouble, getting it over to Cortez. Destiny Pope almost took that one away from Blacksburg. And traveling called against Kaylee Cortez. 3:47 to play in the final period. Blacksburg still down by 25. And now inside, Jones just going to sling that one up there, off the mark, and rebounded by Kelly Farias Rodriguez of the Lady Cardinals. That defense pressing, but not getting anywhere for Blacksburg so far, or at least not in the turnover department. Again, Landrum has not scored so far in this period. Closing in on the halfway point of the 4th, Higgins finally gets some points on the board for the Lady Cardinals. Lead out to 27. Blacksburg has not scored since the break. No points at all in the second half so far. And whistles blow. Substitutions now for Blacksburg. Shania Smith exits the game. She's replaced by number 23, Stormy Harris. And Vance checks that one in to Destiny Pope. 3 minutes to go in the game. Blacksburg looking for something to hang their hat on the bus ride home. This one all but out of reach. And now Pope going to drive inside. Almost has that one taken away by Cortez. And now Vance sets up for the 3, off the mark. Brought back in. Oh, for a second by Pope. Goes off her hands and that's a traveling call going against Vance. So Blacksburg went through a lot of trouble to get that one back. And it still ends up in the hands of Landrum. 2:38 to play in the 4th now. Blacksburg looks like they're back to zone for the most part now. And Cortez open for the long 2, gets that one. 33-4. Landrum absolutely rolling. Stormy Harris gets it over to Peyton Vance. Vance tries to split some defenders, and foul called against Landrum, I believe. Yeah, I heard the ref say white on that one. And substitution for Landrum. Naomi Correia exits the game. She's replaced by Jordan Higgins. Olivia Smith in as well for the Lady Cardinals. Vance checks it in to Destiny Pope. And Pope threw that one off balance. She was falling forward as she sent that one, and Olivia Smith, that was a long pass, had to catch up to it, did what she could to keep it in play, but fell out of bounds herself. They're going to keep this one with Landrum, though. Jordan Higgins to check in. They're setting up that three-point shot again. And a substitution, Jenna Holzheimer entering the game in relief of Ferris Rodriguez. But herein lies the problem. This one already isn't well defended. Not a good formational look for Blacksburg, and they get out of it. Now inside, Sydney Price sinks that one. Landrum up by 21 now. Around 90 seconds to play in the game. Stormy Harris just slings that one up, off the mark, rebounded by Price. Price gonna have to make some players miss. Does so successfully, now driving inside, wants it herself, off the mark, and somehow Kaylee Cortez comes away with that one. 75 seconds to go now, Cortez looking. And Holzheimer thought about going for the long shot. Instead, Higgins takes it, and Higgins had the accuracy a little too far, though. Under a minute to play in the game. Cortez sends it over to Price. Price for three. Right on the money, Sydney Price. Landrum up by 34. Again, Blacksburg has not scored since halftime. In danger of being shut out in the second half. Anna Jones looking to do something about it. Gets it over to Lexi Mode. Back in the game after an absence. Mode for the long three. Almost had that one. Rebounded by Landrum. And Holzheimer called for traveling. 29.1 seconds left for Blacksburg to get some points. Again, Blacksburg, I mean, the only word I can think of so far is just groggy. It looks like they're playing one of the morning games at the tournaments almost. They're just not woke up. Again, they got here late, only had about 10 minutes to warm up, so that's probably playing into things more than we realize. And now Stormy Harris, that was a short pass. Landrum had time to catch up to it and put enough pressure on her to make that one go off the mark. Foul called against Destiny Pope. 5 seconds remaining in the game. And with the ball in the hands of the Cardinals, it looks like Blacksburg is going to get shut out in the second half. I mean, that's something that doesn't happen a lot in football. And now Cortez actually looking to get some more points. Can Landrum crack 40? And Correia off the mark on that one. So that will bring an end to this one. Landrum wins it 38-4. You heard that right. Only 4 points scored total for Blacksburg. A lot of missed shots and a lot of takeaways forced by that Lady Cardinal defense. Hopefully we'll have a higher scoring game coming up at the top of the hour, or not at the top of the hour, it's the top of the hour now. Should be starting at 7:15 or 7:30, the boys matchup between Blacksburg and Landrum. And you can see them right over there on the right-hand side of the frame, the Landrum boys team getting ready to take the court. We'll be back soon. They've got the clock set for 10 minutes, so again, I'm not sure if they're going to start this one at 7:15 or 7:30. The official time is 7:30, but we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, so it looks like we're actually going to start this one off at 7:10, or maybe even a few minutes earlier than that. I suppose that this one might have actually been slated to start at 7 o'clock, right on top of the hour. The girls' game ran a little long, and here we are. Now, our cameraman went on a little adventure. Oh, he's out there getting the rosters from Hambone right now. You can see him. He's in the blue shirt right above the L on that video board. So, assuming he can't get back here in time, I'll run over to the camera and work that for a few moments. So if my voice gets a little quieter, that's why. And indeed, looks like both teams set to take the court. I'm not going to be able to update the scoreboard on screen until I get back to the computer. Running the camera takes precedence over that, so I'll hop over there for a moment. If my voice gets quiet, that's why.
Well, once again, I'd like to welcome you to Landrum High School. Incorporated in South Carolina High School League, DHEC, and CDC. All spectators are required to wear a face covering and social distance during our contests. We also ask you to please sit on the yellow sticker. These stickers are placed throughout the building, boxes 2, 3, or 4 with a thank you for your help.
And tip off, won by Landrum. Jake Ballou takes this, or that's Dylan Ballou, excuse me, takes that one in, and now Landrum going to set up for the first possession of the game. And we got the Blacksburg roster at the ready. Until then, though, Landrum's driving inside. 3-point shot from Noah Harmon off the mark. And still up in the air, eventually brought back in by Blacksburg. Flipped over to number 0, Aiden Ham. And now, or no, that was number 3. Excuse me again. These Blacksburg numbers tricky to read. Would not have thought that gold numbers as opposed to white numbers would make so much of a difference. But indeed they have, and man, both teams just scrambling to the ball. This looks like a dog pile under the rim for the most part. And Harmon's second shot off the mark, and Mario Gonzalez, able to sink the first points of the game for the Cardinals. All right, had to grab Landrum's roster real quick. Feels like it's been a really long time since we've seen the Landrum JV team play. Of course, we saw their varsity teams play at the Battle of the Border tournament about a week or so ago. Got a lot of basketball in that one. Clock continues to run, 90 seconds into the first period. This is number 12, Jacob Gilfin, and has that one stolen away by Dylan Ballou. Ballou hesitates and has that one taken away by Aiden Ham. And now taking a few steps back is number 4 for Blacksburg. That is DeQuandre Buxton. And man, this is moving a lot faster than the girls' game. I'm having trouble keeping up with the rosters and all. Number 4 is DeQuandre Buxton, check that. And right inside, Jacob Gilfillan tried to get that one over to number 50, Aiden Johnson. Johnson far and above the tallest player on either side right now. And Johnson unable to connect there, so still nothing on the board for Blacksburg 2 minutes into this one. Ballou tried to take a step back, instead gets it over to Braden Mostere, and Mostere's shot off the mark, rebounded by Johnson. And this is number 2 making his way down the court for Blacksburg. Has that one blocked by Mark Baker, and Aiden Johnson had it for a moment, stripped away by Landrum, and they're going to rule it in favor of the Cardinals. Mostere taking it down the court, and now looking to get it inside. That's Mark Baker. Outside to Gonzalez. Gonzalez short hops a three-pointer. This one headed out of bounds, brought back in by Noah Hamlin. Hamlin trying to drive inside and really navigating some defenders, but gets called for traveling. Shot was off the mark anyway. And now to Quandra Buxton to check in for the Wildcats. He flips it over to Jacob Gilfillan. And Gilfillan really navigating some players there and has it taken away by Noah Hamlin. Hamlin hesitates, takes a step back, gets it to Ballou. Now Ballou trying to get out of some trouble, flips it to Mostre. Mostre to Hamlin. Hamlin going inside and off the mark, rebounded by the Wildcats. There was a jump ball, and this one is going to go to Blacksburg. Still only 2-0. Both teams have had a lot of possession so far, and the shots have not necessarily been off the mark. There have just been a lot of rebounds on both ends. Gilfillan flips it inside to Buxton. Buxton airmails it out of bounds. Aiden Ham, the intended receiver there. Noah Hamlin to check in for the Cardinals. Substitutions now. Dylan Ballou and Mario Gonzalez exit the game. They're replaced by Chandler Thompson and Jack Clark. That shot from Thompson off target, and now over to Hamlin. Hamlin going inside the paint, off, rebounded by, that was Mark Baker, and Baker can't connect. Got fouled as he was shooting though, so Landrum with a chance to go up 2 possessions. 2:40 to play in the first period. Only 2 points on the game so far for either team. Mark Baker with a chance to get the Cardinals out to a 3-point lead. Can't do it. They'll have another chance. It'll be a 1-possession game, though, regardless of what happens here. Another substitution now for Landrum. Noah Hamlin exits the game. He's replaced by Blaine Silver. And Baker's second shot off the mark. We got whistles, though. I think Blacksburg crossed the line too early. And really looks like no harm, no foul. Buxton flips that one over to Gilfillan. Now back to Buxton. And again, another pass from Buxton goes out of bounds. Ham, the intended receiver, once more. Braden Mostre to check in for the Cardinals. He's going to send it to Chandler Thompson. Back to Mostre. And now Landrum taking it down the court across half court. Mostre trying to set up Clark. Over to, that's Thompson. Back to Clark. Back to Mostre for 3. Mostre, too much on that one. Rebounded by Buxton. Did a good job of keeping that one in play for a moment. Taken away by Jack Clark for the long 2, and Clark sinks it. Landrum goes up 4-0 in the early going. 2 minutes to play in the first period. Inside for Gilfillan. Back outside to Ham. Ham for 3. And just off the rim, up for grabs, rebounded by Blacksburg. Back to Ham, second chance. This one off the mark as well. And Blacksburg tried to keep that one in, number 21 there. That was Latinia Littlejohn. And looks like Landrum was able to sink that shot, but I think we had whistles beforehand. 1:45 to play in the first. I believe that's actually pronounced Latinian Littlejohn. And now Buxton checking in, and whistles blow. And they'll go back to Landrum's. I think Blacksburg crossed the line too early there. Braden Mostre to check in for the Cardinals. And looking for an open man, sends it down the court over to Mark Baker, now to Jack Clark. Clark sets it up for Thompson, well guarded by the Wildcats. Mostre driving inside, blocked. And I think we got a foul called against Blacksburg on that one. Yep, shooting foul against the Wildcats. Braden Mostre with a chance to extend the lead out to as much as 6 here. Third foul of the game called against the Wildcats. And the shot is good, 5-0 Landrum. And Mark Baker exits the game for the Cardinals. He's replaced by Brandon Jackson. Landrum without Franklin Davis today. Davis saw some action for the varsity team at the Battle of the Border tournament. Made a pretty considerable impact for the Landrum team. Only a freshman, but playing with the varsity roster. I'd like to congratulate him on that. Until then, Blacksburg, and now trying to send out an inside. That was number 10, Wesley Bright. He had a three-point lane wide open. Instead, tried to send it inside, and Landrum sends it out of bounds. Blacksburg will hang on to it. Gilfillan to check in. Inside to number 21, that's Littlejohn, and Littlejohn gets Blacksburg their first points of the game. 6-2 in favor of the Cardinals. The shot rebounded by Bright, and then taken right away by Thompson, and I think they're going to get Thompson with a foul. Thompson could not believe it. Ethan Pennington checks it in. Now back to Pennington for the Wildcats. Sends it inside to Bright. Bright tries to get it to Littlejohn. Taken away again by Landrum. Now it's loose and brought back in by Pennington. Pennington to Gilfillan. Now Bright looking for an open lane. Has that one batted up in the air. Whistles blow. I think we got a foul against Jack Clark. This will be Blacksburg ball. Bright to check in. Sends it over to Gilfillan. Gilfillan fakes to the outside. Now looking to go that way. Gets it over to Pennington. Back to Bright. Over to Buxton now. Back over to Littlejohn. And Littlejohn bobbled that pass. It's taken away by Chandler Thompson. Now this is Jack Clark making his way down the court over to number 10. That's Dylan Collins in the game now for Landrum. Thompson over to Clark, now back inside to Collins, and Collins gets called for traveling. Buxton checks it in to Gilfillan, back to Buxton. Buxton in a little trouble, gets it to Bright, and Bright again tried to send that one inside the Littlejohn and has it batted away by Landrum. It will remain Blacksburg ball, but Bright's got to get some confidence with those shots. I don't think he's taken a single one all game. Gilfillan looking for an open man. Got Bright down the court. Sends it his way. Bright goes inside to Gilfillan. Gilfillan takes a step back. Has that shot blocked. And taken away by Landrum. Dylan Collins making his way down the court. 10 seconds to play in the first. Clark taking a step back. Sets up for three. Off the mark. Up and rebounded by Landrum. Still in play for the Cardinals. And that was Braden Lance getting some more points on the board for Landrum. So at the end of the first period, Landrum up 8-2. Back in a few minutes. All right, so it looks like Landrum's got their starters back in, made a lot of substitutions in that first period. I suppose they were trying to see who had the hot hand and who didn't. Again, really everybody playing equally well for the Cardinals so far, especially on defense. Only 2 points surrendered by the Cardinals in that first period. And now Dylan Ballou looking to make it 10 for Landrum. 8-point lead for the Cardinals, 3-possession game now. Pennington in some trouble, gets it over to Ham. Now Ham inside for the long two, off the mark and rebounded by Mark Baker. Over to Braden Mostere. 30 seconds into the second period. Landrum looking to extend their lead. Mario Gonzalez gets it over to Mostere. Mostere fakes to the outside, going inside, overshoots it, and brought back in by Blacksburg. And now trying to send that one inside to Pennington. Loose ball brought back in by Ethan Pennington. Now over to Aiden Ham, and Ham taking a step back. 5 minutes to play in the second. Inside, and that was number 2, Nick Painter, sending that one off the underside of the rim, so no points there for Blacksburg. Mastre almost lost it, keeps it in play. Now Dylan Ballou for the long 3, off the mark. Rebounded by Noah Hamlin. And now Mario Gonzalez for 3. Gonzalez sinks it. Gonzalez has been a 3-point machine for the Cardinals so far this season. And this one taken away by Noah Hamlin. Hamlin sending it inside to Ballou. Ballou makes a man miss, and Ballou gets the layup. Dylan Ballou extending Landrum's lead out to a 13-point game. 5-score lead for the Cardinals. Can Gonzalez make it 6? No, he's called for traveling. 4:17 left to play in the half. Painter to check in now for the Wildcats. Looked like Aiden Johnson wanted to come in. He's not going to sub in quite yet. And Painter just flings that one down the court. I don't know who he was trying to get it to, but it falls into the hands of Mastre. Now Hamlin sets up for 3, and Hamlin almost had that one. Instead, it's rebounded by number 3. That's Tracy Smith of the Wildcats. Smith got it over to Pennington. Now Pennington to Painter. Painter over to Ham. Ham for 3. I think that shot got partially blocked. I heard it hit the hand of someone, or it sounded like it hit a hand at least. Now Little John looking for an open lane. Ham for a long 3, and he sinks it. What a shot from Aiden Ham. 3:35 to play in the half. Mastre flips it to Gonzalez. Gonzalez wanted 3. Instead back to Mastre. Now back to Gonzalez again. Nothing happening. Inside for Mark Baker. Baker got fouled. 2 shots coming up here for the Cardinals. Now Mark Baker from the free throw line. Lead is at 10. He's got a chance to make it 12. First shot is off the mark. Substitutions made by Blacksburg. Looks like DeQuandre Buxton and Jacob Gilfillan in the game now for the Wildcats. Baker's second shot. Good. (16-5) in favor of Landrum, and Hamlin almost takes that one away. Instead, it's brought back in by Gilfillan, but you can hear that Landrum sideline starting to get loud. Hamlin takes this one away, goes for the layup, and got it. 18-5 now, and this one taken away by Landrum. Hamlin going for another layup, and this one rolls in. Up to a 15-point lead now. And Blacksburg takes a timeout. 2:56 to play in the second period. Blacksburg got to find some offense. Landrum starting to pour it on here. All right, and we're back. We'll see if Blacksburg can find some momentum on offense. DeQuandre Buxton getting it over to Painter. Painter over to, that's right, back to Painter, back to Buxton. Over to Aiden Ham. Ham wanted the 3-pointer. Window closes quickly. Back over to Nick Painter. And Painter flings it over to Buxton. Buxton for 3. Off the mark. Too much on that one. And great job of Blacksburg to keep it in. And this one goes their way. It was brought back in by Landrum for a moment. But Hamlin had possession and sent it out of bounds. Nick Painter to check in for the Wildcats. 2:33 to play in the second period. Forgot to change that. This is the second period. Aiden Ham looking for an opening. Catches a block from Littlejohn, sends it over to Buxton. Now Buxton looking for something. Airmails it to Bright. Bright driving inside, looks to get rid of it. Pass tipped by Jack Clark and falls out of bounds. Aiden Ham to check in for the Wildcats. Closing in on 2 minutes now. Blacksburg flipping it around, setting up Ham for three. Ham off the mark, and there's a scuffle for the ball. Still going, and brought back in by DeQuandre Buxton. Takes a step back, had a three-point lead, instead gets it to Painter. Over now to Bright. Bright for three, off the mark, rebounded by Mark Baker. Under 2 minutes to play now. Jack Clark tried to flip that one inside. Instead, there's a scuffle for the ball. Brought back in by Landrum. Tried to set up Jack Clark. Window closes. Chandler Thompson sends it inside to Hamlin. And Hamlin sinks the two-point. Landrum up by 17. 80 seconds to play now. Blacksburg looking to find some momentum heading into the locker room here. 70 seconds. Painter flips it out to Ham. Ham goes inside, flips that one up off the mark, rebounded by Noah Hamlin. Hamlin tried to go behind the back and sends it out of bounds. It'll be Wildcat ball around Cardinal ball, excuse me, at half court. 1:04 to play in the first half. Noah Hamlin checking in to Braden Mostere. Mostere gets it to Thompson, inside to Hamlin. Hamlin sinks that one. Landrum up by 19 now. Higher scoring than the girls' game, but not by much, and really going about the same so far. And Buxton airmails out and out of bounds, intended for Wesley Bright. Aiden Johnson enters the game for Blacksburg. Noah Hamlin checks it in to Chandler Thompson. 45 seconds on the clock in the first half. Mostere looking, gets it to Thompson. Back to Mostere, tried to set up for three. Guarded by Blacksburg. Now Hamlin looking for an opening, driving inside, flips it over to Thompson. Thompson for the long three-pointer, and right off the backboard, perfect shot from Chandler Thompson. 26 seconds to play. Blacksburg got to get something going, down by 22. And this one's stolen away by Braden Mostere. Making a beeline for the goal. 15 seconds to go. Mostere trying to make a man miss. Instead flips it over to Hamlin. Hamlin the free throw line, off the mark. Rebounded by Jackson. Jackson can't connect. 7 seconds left. DeQuandre Buxton gets it over to, that's Pennington. And now Pennington's just going to heave it up. And got it! What a shot by Ethan Pennington to close it out. And that's the kind of momentum start builder you need going into halftime, down by this big of a margin. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Landrum up by 19, 27-8 at the end of the second period. Don't go anywhere. Back in 10 minutes. All right, and we are back. We'll see if Blacksburg was able to draw up anything offensively there in the locker room. Only 8 points throughout the first 12 minutes. Got to get something going here, especially with the way Landrum's offense started clicking within the last 3 minutes. They were really thriving off takeaways, particularly inside the paint, had a lot of points that way, and got whistles already. Foul called against Noah Hamlin of Landrum. That was Jacob Gilfillan trying to split some defenders. Got fouled in the process. We'll see if they can get it across half court this time. They do. Aiden Ham looking for an open man. And just, oh man, I can't believe Gilfillan caught that. Really airmailed it, and it eventually makes its way out of bounds. Man, that one had some serious heat on it from Aiden Ham. Great job by Gilfillan. He should be playing receiver with hands like that. Oh, and that pass stolen away. Nick Painter turns it over, and Dylan Ballou got fouled as he was shooting there. So things already going haywire for the Wildcats. Dylan Ballou going to have a chance to notch 2 more points and get Landrum's lead back out to 20 plus. Oh, and the first shot off the mark from Dylan Ballou. Second shot on target. 20-point lead for the Cardinals. Sending it inside. Blacksburg. Oh, too tall for Aiden Johnson. And Gilfillan, you could see the disbelief on his face there. I'm not going to lie. Aiden Johnson looks to be, at least 6'7" down there. I'd be kind of surprised if I overthrew him too. It's tough to miss someone that tall, but that one, I think Shaq would have been hard-pressed to catch that pass. It was really up there. And now Dylan Ballou takes a sidestep, goes for the three-pointer, and it bounces off the inside of the rim. It was in there for a second. Instead, it's rebounded by Gilfillan. Now inside, Aiden Johnson misses that one, and there's a scramble for the ball, brought back in by Noah Hamlin. And now we're going to slow things down. 70 seconds into the first few moments of the third period. Still nothing on the board so far for Blacksburg. Gonzalez flips it to Mostere. Mostere back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez all alone for 3, sinks it! Landrum cracks 30. Mario Gonzalez with yet another three-pointer. 90 seconds into the third now. Buxton driving inside off the mark and rebounded by Landrum. Mostere gonna flip it down to the court for Ballou, and Ballou misses the layup. And then takes it right away, but I think they're going to call a foul from all the way on the other side of the court. And Gilfillan's shoe came off. Aiden Johnson fell down and is slow to get up. A lot happening there. Nick Painter flips it over to Aiden Ham, back to Painter, over to Buxton. And that one goes off the hands of Painter, headed out of bounds. Buxton has had a nasty habit of that so far. He has had several passes make their way out of bounds in one way or another, be they either off target or coming in too hot for his teammates to reel in. Yet another turnover by Blacksburg. Hamlin checks it into Mostere. Mostere over to, tried to set that one up to Dylan Thompson. Now back to Mostere, inside to Brandon Jackson. Now Hamlin from that center position gets it. And this one almost taken away by Landrum. That one had a lot of heat on it. Now inside, Littlejohn off the mark, rebounds his own shot, can't get this one either. Gilfillan looking around, tried to get it outside to Painter, and taken away by Landrum. And Hamlin got fouled. Got hung up between Painter and Gilfillan there. It'll remain Cardinal ball. 3:26 to play in the third. Hamlin checks into Mostere. They were trying to set up Jack Clark, I think. Instead, they go inside with Hamlin. Hamlin lost it, and they're going to sling this one down the court. It's taken right away by Mostre, going for the layup. That shot blocked, rebounded by Jackson, and Jackson sinks it from right underneath the rim. Still nothing on the board so far in this period for Blacksburg. And this one taken its way as well. This is exactly what Landrum did at the end of the second period, just pouring it on to the tune of several takeaways. And Blacksburg going to catch a little bit of a break here. 2:55 to play in the third. The Wildcats still have yet to crack double digits. Buxton flips it over to Ham. Ham airmails it to Gilflin. Gilflin trying to cut inside. Goes for it and off the mark. Rebounded by Mostre. Jump ball. Or they might call out a foul against Gilflin. And I think they are. Regardless, it's Landrum ball. Mostre sends it right down the middle to Hamlin, and Hamlin tips it in. Landrum in danger of getting this lead out to 30 plus. Firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. And now Aiden Ham going to flip it inside, back to Buxton. Buxton from outside the paint, off the mark, rebounded by Noah Hamlin. To get the Cardinals out to a 31-point lead. Hamlin sinks the layup. 39-8. The Cardinals up by 31. Ethan Pennington flipping it over to Jacob Gilfillan. Gilfillan getting it to Ham. That one almost taken away by Mostre. Ham for the long two. Really sent that one far. Rebounded by Hamlin. Hamlin taking a step back. Almost had that one stolen away. Now looking for an open man. Going to flip it over to Dylan Thompson. Back to Mostre. Now Mostre going to try to cut inside. Takes a step back, setting up Clark. Now Hamlin. Hamlin driving, flipping it over to Thompson. Nothing open right now on this possession at least, and we got a whistle. Not sure what that was about. And they're going to call a foul against Jacob Gilfillan of Blacksburg, so it'll remain Landrum ball. 1:24 to play in the third. Blacksburg has not scored in the third period. And now making a few more substitutions, a lot of substitutions actually. Jordan Evans in the game, I see. I'll try and get the rest of the numbers here. Looks like number 3, Tracy Smith in the game. Saw a little bit of action in the second period. And Nick Painter in as well. And now Painter flips it over to Pennington. 75 seconds to play in third. Blacksburg trying to get something set up here. They're going to flip it over to Pennington. Now to Ham. And Painter all alone for the long two. Short hops it. Rebounded by Dylan Thompson. Or pardon me, that's been Chandler Thompson. Chandler Thompson and Dylan Collins both kind of look similar. And they're both wearing divisibles of 5 as well. And Thompson for the long two sent that one too far in the air, but they got a foul called against Nick Painter. Thompson going to have 2 foul shots coming up. 49.1 seconds left to go in the third. Landrum up by 31 with a chance to get it to 33. .32 lead for the Cardinals. Landrum's cracked 40 now. And 40 is where it will remain. Brought back in by Blaine Silver. Now Silver got to sling it down over to Dylan Collins. Back to Collins. Over to Jack Clark to Thompson. Look to go inside to Silver. Now back to Clark. And back to Collins. And now Collins going to drive inside. Outside to Silver for 3. Nice setup from Landrum. That's a 35-point lead for the Cardinals. 20 seconds to play in the third. Blacksburg in danger of being shut out through 6 minutes, and it's going to continue for the time being. That one was taken away by Thompson. He got fouled on his way down the court. Clock stops at 11.9 seconds. Jack Clark will check in. That is Blacksburg's 6th foul of the second half. Landrum closing in on the bonus now. The last thing Blacksburg would need is the opportunity to give the Cardinals even more points. Brandon Jackson going to try to do it himself and runs out of time. So at the end of the third, Landrum really pouring it on, shutting Blacksburg out through the third period, 43-8. Blacksburg going to try to get their footing within the last 6 minutes. Back in a few moments. All right, and start out the fourth period. Landrum's got the ball. Chandler Thompson kind of directing traffic, looking for an open man, can't find one, and now gets it to Blaine Silver. Silver motioning some men inside. Jack Clark will have a chance, and Clark sends it over to Silver. Silver wanted to go for three. Thompson wanted to go for three, now does, and just a bit to the right. Rebounded by Brandon Jackson, and Jackson sinks it. Landrum up by 37. 5.5 minutes to play in the fourth. Ethan Pennington gets it over to, that's a new player, or no, Wesley Bright drops it, taken away by Landrum. Dylan Collins takes some steps back to Chandler Thompson. Silver sets up for three, and just off the mark, rebounded by Wesley Bright. Now Bright takes a step back, gets it over to Pennington. Pennington gonna set this one up. And that was Jordan Evans now in the game as well, number 24. This is Evans for three, and too far. Rebounded by Blacksburg, and too much on that shot from number 14, Lucas Johnson. It'll remain Blacksburg ball. 4:48 to play in the fourth now. Pennington sets it up, and Bright is all alone for three. Can't sink it, threw it right to Blaine Silver. And Landrum almost turned that one over. Almost turned it over again. Blacksburg really going for the steal and just can't get it. And, man, Wesley Bright pressing hard against Dylan Collins and still can't come away with the ball. Now Jack Clark driving inside, stepping back. Blaine Silver gets it to, that is Braden Lance, and now Jack Clark for three, got it! Landrum up by 40. 48-8. When it rains, it pours for Blacksburg. And now taking the three-point shot is Evans, off the mark, rebounded by Jack Clark. Clark flips it over to Thompson for three, off the mark, rebounded by Ethan Pennington of Blacksburg. And Pennington slings it down the court. Wesley Bright in some trouble, and that one rolls off the rim. 3.5 minutes to play in the fourth. Blacksburg in danger of being shut out in the second half. Remember, the girls' team only scored 4 points, and they were shut out in the second half. It would be quite a feat if Landrum was able to do that twice in a row. Blaine Silver flips it over to Thompson. Thompson has that shot blocked, but I think we got a foul called against Blacksburg. And indeed we do. That one called against Wesley Bright. 2 shots coming up for Chandler Thompson. get Landrum over 50. First shot off the mark. Substitution for Blacksburg. Number 14, Lucas Johnson, exits. He's replaced by Latinian Littlejohn. And shot number 2 off as well. Rebounded by Blaine Silver. Silver has that shot blocked, and Silver got fouled. That's Blacksburg's 8th foul. And that first shot off by Blaine Silver. Second one on the money. Landrum up by 41. This one all but decided. And got some whistles. Was that a timeout? Might have been. Clock stops at 3:11. Everybody headed back to the bench. So yeah, timeout. Not sure who called it. And Lucas Johnson re-enters the game during this timeout. And now Pennington flips it over to Bright. Bright looking around, gets it. Is that Pennington again? No, that is Evans. And now Pennington goes for 3, rolls off the rim. Blacksburg seeming like they're cursed. And they block that one, but it'll stay with Landrum. Braden Lance, nope, it'll stay with Collins. Collins finds Thompson. Thompson back to Collins. Looking around and floating backward all the way to the half-court line. Thompson, under some duress, gets it over to Clark. Clark makes a man miss, driving inside, tries to do it himself and gets fouled. So bonus shot coming up for Jack Clark. That is Blacksburg's 9th foul. One shot coming up. And this one off the mark. Or no, they're going to give him 2 shots. Called it a shooting foul. And this one on target. Landrum hits 50. Blacksburg still has yet to crack double digits. They've got 2.5 minutes to do it. And that pass behind Evans, brought back in. Evans for 3, off the rim, rebounded by Pennington. And whistles blow as Pennington comes down with it. I think we got a push against Landrum. And that one called against Thompson. Wesley Bright going to check this one in for Blacksburg. Sends it inside to Johnson. Lucas Johnson has that one blocked. Johnson was fouled. So now Blacksburg with an attempt at what will be their first points of the second half. Lucas Johnson from the free throw line. 2 shots coming up. 2:23 to play in the 4th. First shot, no good. And this one is good. Some much needed points as late as they've arrived. Blacksburg definitely needed those. First points of the second half, notched with just over 2 minutes to go in the 4th period. And now Landrum looking for a response score, can't get it. This one brought back in by Blacksburg. Braden Lance, the shooter for Landrum, off target. Pennington, I think he thought about going for 3 instead. They're going to flip this one over to Evans. Evans misses that one, rebounded by Johnson, and whistles blow as Johnson comes down with it. I think we got a foul going against Landrum. Lucas Johnson head back to the line now. 1:57 to play in the 4th. First shot is no good. And the second shot is off the mark and goes out of bounds. It'll be Landrum ball. Braden Lance to check in. He'll flip it out to Chandler Thompson, and Thompson will keep it himself. Thompson back to Lance. Now Lance looking around, gets it over to Silver for the long two, off the mark. Rebounded by Blacksburg. Offense starting to slow down here for Landrum. Blacksburg has not been able to capitalize though. Long three coming up for Blacksburg, off the mark, rebounded by Johnson. Lucas Johnson can't connect, and rebounded again by Blacksburg until Blaine Silver eventually comes down with it. But I think we got a foul called against Jack Clark. Or that could have been number 3 of Blacksburg as well. There are 2 number 3s, and that one's going against Blacksburg, so Landrum in the double bonus now. Blaine Silver, 2 shots coming up. Landrum's up by 41. They can make it 43. It's at 42 now. Wait, the camera. And this one good as well. Landrum up by 40, or excuse me. And 70 seconds to play in the game. Landrum leads it 52-9. I'll have to go back and watch the tape. I thought they said 53. Did they go to the line with 51 or 50? I can't remember. Won't make much of a difference in the long run. Wesley Bright to check in. He gets it over to Ethan Pennington. Pennington flips it to Evans. Going over to Lucas Johnson. That one batted up by Chandler Thompson. And they're going to keep this with Blacksburg. And now Evans flips it over to Bright. Bright driving along the outside of that line, flips it back to Evans. Thompson, tried to take it away, can't do it. And now Bright going to drive inside for the 2. No, rebounded by Evans. Outside to Pennington for 3. Off the mark and rebounded by Braden Lance. 35 seconds left to play. Landrum can take a step back and go on a little victory tour now. Chandler Thompson in no hurry. Catches a block from Dylan Collins. And Blacksburg just kind of knocked that one out of bounds. Blaine Silver will check in for the Cardinals. Silver flips it to Lance. Now outside, Dylan Collins all alone for 3, off the mark, and brought back in by Blacksburg. 22 seconds to play. Still looking for some more points. Again, Blacksburg has yet to crack double digits in either of their games. And now Chandler Thompson, 11 seconds to go, in no hurry, and I think they're going to let him run out the clock now. Looks like your final is going to be 52-9. So between 2 games, both the boys and the girls, Landrum allows a combined 13 points. Just an outstanding defensive performance. I mean, Blacksburg definitely had some struggle shooting themselves, but I mean, give credit to Landrum in both games. They really put pressure on the Wildcats with a lot of turnovers early, and more importantly, points off of those turnovers. They weren't just taking the ball away, they were taking it away and then scoring too. Your final from game 2 of 2 tonight, 52-9. Landrum wins it by, I believe that's 43. Let me grab my calculator for this one. Yes, a 43-point margin of victory for the Cardinals here. Our next event is coming up tomorrow, actually. That's going to be wrestling here at Landrum High School. First wrestling event we've done between Landrum and Chapman. Let me double check it real quick. Oh no, wrestling at Chapman, but it's, or no, the wrestling match, the wrestling match between Chapman and Landrum is not till February 2nd, but we do have a wrestling match at Chapman tomorrow. That is going to be at 5 o'clock p.m. Make sure you subscribe to the Chapman High School Athletics channel. That's where that wrestling match is going to be streamed. And subscribe to the Landrum High School Athletics channel now so you don't miss any notifications. You will be notified whenever we set up a new stream and when we go live. Until then, I'm Luke Ruff signing off for Spartanburg School District 1 Athletics. I'd like to thank Dr. Ron Garner, Superintendent of Spartanburg School District 1, Jason McCraw at the district office, and Mike Dentry, the athletic director here at Landrum High School, for helping us put all this together. Been a really, really fun season, and we look